Hi everybody, welcome to the OAGRC. I'm Craig. Thank you very much for stopping by the channel today. It's time for some more RC news. And rather than building up the Fire Dragon this week, I'm going to start cleaning up my TT02B. I want to do a hop-up series on this, but before I do that, it needs a little bit of cleaning. So I'm going to get it out today, take the shocks off, clean the shocks up a little bit while we're chatting. Maybe I won't take them off, maybe I'll just clean them up. And give it a bit of a clean down while we talk about the RC news. And it's going to be really quick today, I think, because there's not actually that much RC news to chat about, because we had all the big RC news the other day with the Nuremberg toy show. And we talked about that last week, didn't we? We talked about all the new stuff from Tamiya. So we don't really have to talk about any of that again. I'm using some of these cowhide there you go, CowRC wipes to clean this off a little bit. So we're not talking about any of that today. What I did think we would have a chat about is some of the releases that either have come out since the Nuremberg toy show, or they've been announced at the toy show, but they weren't on my radar or on my list of things to chat to you guys about last week. So one of which was coming from Kyosho. So right at the end of the Nuremberg show, they had one of the Kyosho, one of the Kyosho Europe reps was on the stand, and one of the designers, or I think it's one of the designers from Japan, appeared, and he had a prototype of the new Laser ZX 7.5 four-wheel drive prototype. Now, I don't know a great deal about this. It's coming later this year. 30mm shocks on it, which look, well, they looked quite nice. 30mm big ball shocks, carbon damper stays, shock stay protectors. It had aluminium floating servo mount. I don't know what that means, but it looked rather cool. And aluminium drive shafts. And they said it should be available on the market some point later this year. Now, I don't know a lot about these Kyoshos, but clearly Kyosho are taking it very seriously, and they want to get back into some form of four-wheel drive racing, which, and I thought it looked quite nice actually. Thought it looked very cool. But I'm sure there are some of you out there that know more about race buggies than I do, and will be able to tell me whether actually that's any good or not. Look at all that dirt coming off this. But I thought it looked interesting enough for me to sit and listen to what the chap from Kyosho had to say. Now, I think it's good that some RC companies like Kyosho are considering getting back into buggy racing, because that might inspire certain other RC companies to consider whether they want to get back into RC buggy racing, because, you know, it's too easy for them to say, no, we don't want to do it anymore, or there's no money in it for, if you're not a serious RC racing company. But it would be nice, I think, to see more competitors entering that arena that used to be involved in it, but perhaps aren't anymore for varying different reasons. So that was cool. Nothing new announced from Tamiya, because, well, they kind of had their say and had their lot the other week. I've reflected on my rather harsh judgment of Tamiya and also of Kyosho. Kyosho has probably nudged slightly more in the right direction because of their announcement of this this laser. Tamiya, I was pretty hard on Tamiya because I was a little bit disappointed with some of the offerings that they had at the toy show. And I think others were really pleased, actually. They thought there was a lot of variation, lots of different models. And I suppose on reflection, you know, maybe I was a little harsh. They have tried reasonably well to give us lots and lots of different things and cater for their pretty diverse fan base. They've got a new truck in there. They've got a new buggy. Well, not sort of a new buggy thing with that, what's it called? The Quirk Hopper. So they have catered for that a little bit in there. They've catered for the on-road enthusiasts with their There are various different TT02 models. So, you know, maybe they've done a better job. The Porsche's there for those sort of serious collectors that want something different, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, maybe I was a little bit unfair on them. You know, maybe I could have been a little bit more forgiving that, you know, they've got such a wide array of RC cars for which to pick from. I suppose I was just a little bit disappointed that there wasn't really anything for me that I wanted. And a lot of it does come down to personal preference, doesn't it? If you see there's something in there for you, then you can be a little bit more happy and optimistic about it. But if there's no cars released that you're interested in, it can feel a bit flat. We're going to move on now to talk about Team Associated. So they announced before the show that they've got this four-wheel drive pickup thing that's coming. They've put an RC10 name on it again, which they just seem to do for everything by default these days. And I might have been a bit flippant about that, because the more I've looked at it, I know the shocks look a bit bouncy all over the place, and I'm still not convinced that that is the right look for the car. But the more I look at it, the more I think actually I quite fancy getting one of those and building it. I don't know what it is about it that's made me want to get one and give it a go. So they're reasonably cheap. Well, they're probably reasonably cheap because they haven't really got any decent shocks. But as a kit, it's come in at about £150 here in the UK. And I think that doesn't come with an ESC, but I think it does come with a motor. And it's left me thinking, do you know what? For £150, if I can source one for a reasonable price, I might give that a go. So let me know what you guys think. Whether you think I'm just crazy and I'm rowing back on all the stick that I've been giving Team Associated. And you're going to go, oh, it's because you've bought one now, because you've got yourself a Team Associated RC10T. You're now all like a Team Associated fanboy. Well, I'm not. I still think that they put an awful lot of releases out, and we're going to talk about some of those in a minute. But that one, I do think, looks moderately interesting to me. Right, finished with that now. This stuff down here, you'll see drying down here, is the Cow RC cleaning Snot. And I've not used this before. I'm just letting it air dry a little bit because it's still a little bit clinging onto my finger. The main man over at Cow RC said to me, if you just pop it down and let it air dry out a little bit, it should be, it's still quite tacky, you see that? So in a minute, I'm just going to get that off my finger if I can. In a minute, we're going to put that on the shocks and see if we can get the dirt off the shock absorbers. But it's quite sticky, quite clingy. Right, Team Associated YZ10 Classic Kit. So they've got the Yokohama YZ10 and they've given it an RC10 makeover. Four-wheel drive, belt drive. It's exactly the same as the YZ10, just they've done it with a golden RC10 livery. With the white dyeable plastics and the gold threaded shocks and all that jazz, gold aluminium chassis. Yeah, just another release, just pumping out something else again. But I'm sure for the enthusiasts, that'll be really interesting. And then they've also done some member-only stuff. Right, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick this up, this Snot, and I'm going to just rub it all over the shock absorber here. And look at that. It's all coming off. Do you see? And then you just fold it in on itself and it should just pick up all the dirt and the horrible stuff off the shock just by rubbing it over it. Actually, that's working really, really, really well. I sound surprised. It's quite sticky though. I don't want to end up with any of this left on the RC, but it gets into all the nooks and crannies and seemingly seems to be getting most of that stuff off of the shock, which is really cool. So you put it in there like that. It's just picking up all the dirt. Wowee. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not getting it perfectly clean. But certainly for those fiddly places that are difficult to get the cleaning cloth in, seems to be doing a pretty good job, look. There we go. Let's take it over here. Rub it all over this one. And look at, I mean, it's like my daughter plays with slime. It's a little bit like that, but it's doing a reasonably good job on these shocks, actually. It's probably still a little bit wet, actually. I probably should have let it air dry for a little bit longer. I'll have the dude at KRC saying to me, you should have just given it a tiny little bit longer, but you just rub it over the plastics and it seems to pick most of the dirt and the debris up off it. Look at that. Now, if these shocks were leaking, this wouldn't be a good idea because it would start to change the consistency of the snot. But these aren't leaking shocks. They're just dirty shocks that need a clean. And that has done a pretty good job, actually, at picking all that up. I'm quite impressed. So you won't be able to see this. I can't move the camera. But down deep in the recess down here, there's all sorts of dirt. I'm just going to throw that in there. And it's just picked all that up in the corners of that battery tray. That was a mistake, stuck to the rubber. Yeah, that's pretty good as well. And then what you can do with this stuff when you finish with it is you can pop it back into the box and let it air dry. And you keep going until it's lost all of its stickiness or it gets like super, super mucky. But yeah, it's pretty good. Like I said, I probably should have just left it go for a little bit longer. Yeah. And I think that would have been perfect. But it's cleaned those shocks up reasonably well at the front. I mean, they're not perfect, but if I do this on a more regular basis, I think I would get quite a lot of that off, actually. And if I was to take them off, I think I'd have had a better process of cleaning. There you go. Very impressed with that. Very good. Right, we'll do the back ones next. While we're chatting about these other things that Team Associated have announced. And they've done some member-only stuff where they've got some limited edition items that they've put up on their website for their members to get. And one of those looks just like a Tamiya RC from the 1980s. And I'll put a picture up on the screen so you guys can see it. You know, I am sure Tamiya's legal department might be having a field day. Or maybe they'll see it as a really nice sort of nod to the classic Tamiya. Maybe that's what they are doing. They're sort of doing it as a bit of a tribute. But, I mean, it looks very, very similar, doesn't it? But, yeah, very interesting that Team Associated have put that out. They've done a static model RC10, which, yeah, someone else can tell me what the point of that is. So I think so. There are plenty of people out there who have got static RC10 models because they've got RC10s that they never intend to run. So that would be, by definition, an RC10 that is static. Yeah. And then they've got the Halsey chain four-wheel drive model, which I thought looked interesting. Now maybe that rear shock, look at that. Maybe that rear shock has leaked a little bit. It has definitely changed the consistency of my snot, which is exactly what I was warned against. So I probably should have just dried that shock off first. Whoops. I won't do that again. Yes, they've got the chain Halsey edition, which, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of RC10 Team Associated fans out there who will be thinking that looks rather cool. And then there was something else. It was a MC10 monster trucky thingy mabobba jigger as well. So they've done all those as part of their, if you're part of their Team Associated club, you get sort of like an early access ability to pick those up. Which I think, I think that's really interesting, actually. I'd love to see Tamiya doing some stuff like that, where they just go, you know, this, if you are a Tamiya club member, yeah, you can buy yourself a limited edition grasshopper or whatever it might be. I think that'd be pretty neat, wouldn't it? But not to be. Tamiya don't really do that sort of stuff, do they? Right, that's all of the RC news. Not a lot today, is there? So we're probably going to be on to telling you what is Craig doing on the OAG RC. Well, at the minute I'm trying to clean this up because what I really want to do is the hop up series for this, where we go through all the different hop-ups that I've collected for this particular model over the years, and I want to hop it up. I like my TTO2B, that's what it is, TTO2B. I like mine. I think it's great, but I think it is very, very limited. And if you guys remember, Paul Coughlin tried to put his out on the track and learnt firsthand how temperamental this particular chassis can be. And it sometimes doesn't want to do what you want it to do. It wants to do what it wants to do. So I want to try and hop mine up a little bit, and we'll see if I can get it doing something else, get it doing something different. I've got some different shocks to put on it, which I'm looking forward to using, because I've had those in my kit collection for an absolute donkey's age. So I bought them years ago. I bought these buggy shocks from Tamiya. I can't even remember what they're called. And they've just been sat waiting for me to put them on this particular model. So that's the plan. That is not cleaned up too badly. That Snot needed to dry out a little bit longer. So next time I use that, I'll make sure it dries out a little bit longer. But that's come up a lot cleaner than it was. That's ready now for me to work on it a little bit. Sort the shocks out. So these shocks are going to come off. I know I spent ages cleaning them up. These shocks are going to come off. And I'm going to replace them with these buggy shocks. They're just normal regular buggy shocks, Tamiya buggy shocks, I think. I do have some aeration ones as well, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to put those on here. I've got a whole different steering mechanism to replace all of this. So all that's going to come off and be replaced with an alloy steering mechanism that's going in there. I think I've got some carbon fibre damper stays to go on it. And I've got some adjustable top and rear arms, which are going to allow me to alter the camber of the wheels, which will be good. And I think, I'll have to have a look, I think I've got the metal drive shaft, but I can't remember. I might have already used that on something else. So the plan is that this will become slightly better at steering, slightly more adjustability, better shock absorbers, and slightly lighter with the carbon damper stays. Whether that's going to make a big difference out on the Orchard Raceway, I don't know. But this thing's running a torque tune, which comes in the kit. Torque tune's in there, I think. And so I think this has got the potential to go better on the Orchard Raceway next season, and hopefully give our top force something to worry about. This did win the very first Orchard Raceway back in 2022. This buggy won, but it's not done anywhere near as well since. And I've used this to bash quite a bit. We've had taken out to gravel traps and spun it around quite a lot, and everyone's had really great fun with it. So it would be nice to get it going reasonably well again. 2022 it finished first, 24 it finished third, so maybe 26 is its year. With a little bit of hop-up love, maybe we'll get it there. So I'll leave you now. Thanks for watching. That was really short on the news. Hopefully there'll be some more RC news for us to talk about next time. But if not, we'll do a bit more of this sort of stuff and just have a general chat about the hobby and stuff that's going on with me. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye for now.